Hi, all. Welcome back to the Royal Banter podcast. This is episode 3. I am Tilly.
And I'm Robin.
And it's been a while since we came to you with the VE Day celebrations. We're actually in the gorgeous Bali with our Wi-Fi struggling a little bit, and we are in a hotel, so forgive us if there is any background noise at the moment. We will be trying to get through this as clean as possible for you to update you on all the royal news. On Monday the 26th, the King and Queen began their tour of Canada. This is the first time that King Charles has visited Canada as monarch. He has been there 20 times previously as Prince of Wales. He was scheduled to visit last year in his coronation year, but unfortunately due to his cancer diagnosis, this was postponed. Upon the King and Queen's arrival in Canada, they undertook what we believe are the traditional royal duties. So they did the airport welcome with the new Prime Minister and his wife and the Governor General. They then moved on to a hockey puck drop, very Canadian there.
Yep, they did.
And of course, we always have a tree planting ceremony. On Tuesday, though, was the big day. This was the day that kind of emphasized Canada's supremacy as a country.
Yeah.
You know, and this is where what they said it was the soft power approach. So this was the king, basically, of Canada, coming to Canada, and he gave what is called the Speech of Thrones, which is the opening of Parliament, basically. So he outlined what the government are going to do, and he outlined this to the entirety of Parliament. The last time the speech was given in person by a monarch was in 1977 by his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and she only did it twice during her reign. So this is a pretty big deal. And I think that nothing on the agenda was about Canada becoming the 51st state of America.
No, absolutely not. He did speak about True North is indeed strong, and that he was referring absolutely to Canada itself. He spoke about their self-determination, democracy, pluralism, and the rule of law and freedom. And many have interpreted that when he said it faced a critical moment, he was talking about suggestions from over the border of annexation. But, I mean, as the King of Canada, he put that to bed.
Yes.
And enough said.
Yeah, that's it. A line's been drawn in the sand. Or through it, I guess, the proposal. And it should be buried in the water now.
Yeah.
So we will keep our lovely Canada in the Commonwealth with us in Australia.
Absolutely.
And I love keeping them within the family.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's one thing when this speech was on, there was a couple of things. I noticed that he looked very emotional at times, and particularly when they broke out into an unscripted,
spontaneous rendition of God Save the King.
Yeah, and also the Canadian anthem.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, and then he, at the end of his speech, you could hear his voice crack a little bit. You know, he's been there 20 times, and I think it honestly does have a very strong meaning in his heart for him. So, you know, I do think this was a very emotional thing for him at that time. But just a question. Just a question. And if anyone can answer it for me, because I've tried to look it up, but why was the king on a throne with ER2 on it?
Which stands for Elizabeth Regina II. So it should be Charles Regnant III.
Yeah. So it's got some dates on there too that end at 2017. I tried to find out about this. Please, somebody, can you leave us an answer in the description? Really confused.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a reason.
Maybe they don't want to update it because they're not.
No, it's just. Okay.
I was also a little bit confused by the lovely old Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Not old, but anyway.
But he was the old Prime Minister. Ex-Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He, of course, met with the King and Queen, with his mother, Margaret Trudeau, because I'm not sure if a lot of people are aware, but his father was actually also Prime Minister. So it is kind of keeping it in the family, a bit like the King, you know, his mother and the King's mother and Trudeau's father both meeting back in the day. Anyway, they had this meeting in the Senate building.
There we go.
Trudeau's in a lovely navy suit. Looks like he always looks a bit of a GQ man. He's wearing Adidas sneakers. He wore Adidas sneakers. And they look really great. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it looks really cool, really trendy. You're in the government building. And they're bright green.
We don't know what the Canadians might think that's fine.
The dress code says formal shoes.
Does it? Okay, I can't answer that. Then. Okay.
Even the Queen even women are meant to wear long gowns.
Okay.
But the Queen, of course, wore a tea-length gown, which they say is now the relaxing of these rules. But I don't think they've relaxed enough to include Adidas.
This is a lovely man. He does some quirky things, and he even picked up his own chair when he, at last day as Prime Minister, and took it out of Parliament. So, I don't know.
Look, I still love it. Like I said, I think it looked great. Just like wearing sneakers in the Buckingham Palace.
Well, they might. You never know.
Don't hit me like
He
that.
has known them since he was a little boy. I know that doesn't give him leeway. I know it doesn't, and I know it's a huge bugbear for you, Tilly. But somebody might be able to give us an answer on that too. Please don't troll it.
No, I'd love to hear what his mother said to him when he rocked up in his Adidas trainers.
I don't know. He's a grown man now. He's a grown man, so. Okay. And the other thing I'd like to just address that we've had so many comments about is Queen Camilla when she came down from the plane arriving in Ottawa, Canada. And she was wearing a beautiful pink dress that I believe is Fiona Clare. I believe she wore it in Paris before. I think it suits her. Frock coats suit her signature. We got, she's wearing the same dress. Oh, she looks frumpy. But mostly we got her hair. Why does she wear that hair? Look at it. She's got it, moving it out of her face, blah, blah, blah. Hello. You know, some of us who are getting older, our hair gets thinner. It suits us. This is the style we wear. We're not going to suit an updo. We don't have thick hair. Leave her alone. Okay? Yeah. That's all I'm going to say. Don't assume because of what you can wear, she can wear it too. The Queen put a hat on to ensure, and her hair was curled and it was hairsprayed within an inch of its life. Queen Elizabeth I'm talking about. This is Queen Camilla's take of hers, and I think it looks lovely on her, to be honest, and I think leave her alone.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the Princess of Wales, we've seen the Duchess of Sussex, we've seen the Duchess of Edinburgh. You can't really wing it at airports. Unfortunately, it's super windy. The hair's just going to do what it wants to do. And like Mum said, that it is a thinner hair. She can't keep it perfectly done, you know, especially if it's not lacquered within an inch of its life. So I think leave this alone. And, you know, she's developing her uniform as queen.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth II was renowned for her colourful hats, her suits, her brooches, her black handbag and her gloves. We saw the same thing. We'd see it in a different colour, maybe a little bit different embroidery, but we saw the same thing.
Yeah.
This is what Camilla's doing. And I think she's doing it very well. I mean, this is a 70-year-old. Well, she's
well into her
70s.
Well into her 70s.
She's gotten on a plane across the Atlantic for a 2-day tour. 2 days in her 70s. And they're not getting rest during this. There's no like, oh, we're going to do the airport. We're going to go sleep for a couple of hours. No. It's
bang, bang,
airport,
bang.
You know, like I couldn't do it.
No.
I've got to go home from Bali and I don't want to do a 6-hour flight. And I definitely ain't going to look as good as her when I step off the plane.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying here.
Shut up. But, you know, give us some grace, guys.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Be fair. Be kind. Just be kind, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I know that in some of the previous videos I have gone a little bit after her fashion, but, you know, it was nothing to do with her age and it was nothing to do with things she can't change, like her hair. You know, like she has a certain hairstyle. She can't pull it up. I think if she put it in a ponytail, people would read her for filth.
Yeah, so leave her be.
That's it.
Okay.
But we did see her wear the traditional diamond maple leaf brooch, which was made in 1939 by the jewellers Asprey. It was made before the Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mum, and George VI undertook their tour of Canada as monarchs. Their first, I would believe,
yeah,
in
I believe so
1936.
too. Yeah.
And of course, since then, we've seen Queen Elizabeth II, we've seen Princess Anne, we've seen Catherine, the Princess of Wales, we've seen Queen Camilla. All of them wear the special brooch, and it has a very close meaning in the royal family. So I'm glad that one came out, and we did see it amongst this tour.
Yeah, I do too. And I thought it was a great tour. And it was amazing to see how many Canadians, they were actually mobbed. They were mobbed, which brings us to another question that we've been asked a lot about. And that is, I mean, hands down and hands up to the protection.
Hands up.
Well, you know, like giving hands up, you know, like to the protection officers.
Giving kudos.
Giving kudos. Yeah, we're giving kudos, right? To the protection officers of the King and Queen, the bodyguards. They're not equerries. They are actual bodyguards. And there is one who's had so much prominence. He had his hands full during this tour. Literally. I mean, like, they just got lost in the scrum of crowd of people all the time. And his name is Jagtar Singh. We know that much about him. His nickname is Jag. He has been with the king, particularly he's come to notice since 2022, since he became king. He is always in the background somewhere. He is the epitome of the Kingsman.
Yes. So the affiliation with Kingsman of Maneth Maketh Man, or the character by Colin Firth that was, of course, made very famous in the movie Kingsman, is an umbrella that Jag loves to hold. He's always dapper. He's always in usually three-piece suits, very beautiful, Britishly tailored, but he carries an umbrella. And, of course, in the movie, the very famous gadget was the umbrella.
Yeah.
But it's just something a little bit different. He's just caught everyone's eye. He does talk to the crowd sometimes, telling them to put away their phones so they can actually enjoy meeting the king instead of shoving phones in the king and queen's faces to try and capture a moment that you're not even actually enjoying.
Yeah, have that moment. Remember that moment. Don't just see it through the camera lens because you're doing it in person. You're not like a lot of us that just see you doing it in the, so enjoy that moment. He tries to tell people that. I also think it's a strategic ploy that he can then see around what's going on because there's so many electronic gadgets. These people are trained. They often come from military units like SAS and the parachute regiment, not always. They are trained in advanced driving techniques, unarmed combat, firearms, you name it, these guys, they are your literal Kingsman.
Yeah, and the elite of the elite.
Yeah, and he is definitely that guy. And they really had their work cut out. And every day the king goes out, they have their work cut out. They're looking, they're scanning, they're trying to be casual. Apparently he's an incredibly nice guy whenever he speaks to anyone. He is a very nice man. But don't be fooled. He is on alert every minute.
Yeah, like don't mess with him.
Yeah.
This is not us issuing you a challenge because you will get your ass handed to you.
Yeah, yeah, and please don't do that. But
no,
he's a terrific, and everyone that's met him says he's just lovely. But he can talk to you, but he's also scoping and scanning at the same time. And I think that he has a great relationship with the king. So
we've also been able to spot him on a TikTok video of him with a magician. You actually get to hear his voice, again, very British.
Yep.
We will post it in the description below so you can have a bit of a look there. It's also nice to see him off duty in this video. He's not in his three-piece suit.
No.
He hasn't got his umbrella. He's, but still very dapper.
Incredibly. He is the quintessential British man to me. So, no,
I think that was a good one.
Yeah.
Before the King and Queen left on their tour, they actually attended the Royal Chelsea Garden Show, which is a highlight every year of the royal calendar. This year it went from the, I think it was a bit earlier, 19th to the 24th
20th
of May.
to the 24th. Yeah.
And actually a lot of royals attended this year. So the King and Queen, they're also joined by the Duke of Edinburgh and the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester when they attended.
Yeah. And it is beautiful. I mean, every year, the whole of Chelsea, the pictures of Chelsea itself are stunning. Every shop puts out something, or most of them. It is stunning, and we'll put some pictures up for you. But it is gorgeous. And when we put up a poll on how many people would like to go, it was unanimously yes. People would love to visit. I'd like to go.
I'd like to go.
I want to go. And maybe we will one day.
Yes.
Yeah. So there were some highlights to the Chelsea Garden Show, particularly on the opening night. The King and Queen met, of course, David Beckham. And so do I. Give him a knighthood.
Yeah.
Anyway, he is an ambassador for the King's Foundation with Alan Titmarsh. And this year, one of their goals is to get young people involved in horticulture, which is a great idea. And they also were involved with a display there, which was done by young people from the King's Foundation. And it was centred around the Chelsea pensioners, and it was beautiful. And we got a lot of response to David Beckham, huge response to David Beckham, and very popular. But it was a great show. And as Tilly said, there were a lot of royals there. And one of the main parts of that show was one that was called the Dog Garden, and it was set up by the Royal Horticultural Society and BBC and BBC Two, right? Sorry, and Monty Don designed it, and it had large park areas and a tree for dogs to enjoy.
Yeah, it was built around what a dog needs and what a dog's going to enjoy. So there's a lot of grassy spaces, there's trees for shade and things like that. But it was the brick paths which really grabbed our attention.
Yeah, and Monty Don named one of the bricks after his dog Ned, and he also allowed Royal Horticultural Society members to name their dogs on the bricks, and also I think Radio 2.
Yes, some of the Radio 2 presenters' dogs were memorialised there.
And the royal dogs.
The royal dogs. Unfortunately, this was limited only to the King and Queen's dogs.
Yeah.
So we did see the Queen's dogs, which is Bluebell,
Yep.
and her new dog, Molly.
Yeah, which we've had recent pictures of, and he's so cute.
Yeah, and the key, also the Queen's unalive dog from last year,
Beth.
and the King's dog, Snuff.
Yeah.
I love that, Snuff.
Snuff. Yeah, Snuff.
Exhibition will actually continue. It's going to be moved to the Battersea Dogs and Cats home, which the Queen is also patron and is where her new dog, Molly, came from.
Yeah.
And so I think there's some really beautiful synergy there.
Yeah, I do too. And I think it's lovely for Battersea. They've been around forever and a day. They do a terrific job. And yeah, I think it'll look beautiful there. So, yeah.
A couple, it may have been the same night or it may have been a day later, but we saw Princess Eugenie post a gorgeous photo of her and Princess Beatrice attending the Royal Chelsea Garden show.
Yeah.
They were both in some floral dresses, Beatrice in one by the Vampire's Wife, and one, Eugenie was wearing one by Australian designer Rebecca Valance. And I thought they just looked beautiful. So that was one of our fashion highlights in the last couple of weeks, was the girls synchronizing in blue, but very different blues.
Yeah, and they were beautiful summer, spring blues, and really gorgeous. And a shout out to Beatrice as well, because the week before she'd also attended the family elephant evening of art and conservation, and she was again wearing a Rebecca Valance gorgeous red dress, Jimmy Choo shoes, Romy. She was wearing the Tyler Ellis Eloise bag and the Sydney Evan Love bracelet. Rebecca Valance, as we said, is Australian. She's also been very popular with Zara when she comes here for the Magic Millions. She's certainly coming into her own, and we couldn't be prouder. And
I actually saw one of the Swedish, what was it, Spanish royals, one of the young princesses wore one of her dresses the other day. So, yeah, like Mum said, we're so proud to be behind this amazing fashion designer.
Yeah, yeah. So keep an eye out for her, because she's on the horizon. So and she's been around since she came into prominence 2011. So, you know, she's done her dues, and good fashion, great stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And the dress that Beatrice wore was a beautiful deep red burgundy with a belt.
Yeah.
Had just enough puff. Any more and it would have swamped Beatrice. I think it was a really beautiful gown choice. The King and Queen also attended that evening. Camilla was in a beautiful, almost flowing caftani pantsuit. Which was, you know,
something out of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
And it looked good.
This is a couple of days after the VE celebrations. Like we said, they are workhorses.
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. Yeah. They work really hard. And she does a few things that are really different. Again, she's worn a jacket not long ago at the VE celebrations that was King Charles. So, you know, give it to her. She's done a great job. Yeah.
Another fashion moment was, of course, we can't finish one without it, was the Princess of Wales, or the Duchess of Rothesay, as she is known in Scotland.
Yes.
When she was at the naming presentation for the HMS Glasgow. So it was announced that she would be the sponsor of the ship back in 2021 by Queen Elizabeth. The ship has finally been built, and she was there to toast it, launch it, and name it. She was in a beautiful Susanna of London coach dress.
Oh, yeah.
Which also encapsulated both the naval nautical theme, but also the colours of the Scottish flag, which are, of course, blue and white. She was wearing a repeated Philip Tracy hat that we saw at the Troopy Colour a couple of years ago. She wore the double sapphire earrings, which were part of Princess Diana's jewellery collection. But the new piece, apart from the gorgeous dress, was the brooch that was done by, bear with me 1 second, Simon Porter of James Porter and Son, which is a 5th generational jeweler. Yeah. It has the naval crown. It has the word Glasgow on it if you look very closely. It also has, of course, the national flower of Scotland, which is the thistle, and a saint. Now, there's no one's quite figured out which saint it is. There's been many guesses of if it's the patron saint of Scotland, which is Saint Mungo. But if we do hear anything from that, we will update you. But I thought she just looked thin and gorgeous, and I loved the photos of William greeting her at the plane, because he was there a day earlier. And I loved that this was an event that really, it was about her. It was her event. He went and supported her, and I just thought it was a really,
and he took that step back.
He did. He did.
Yeah.
You know, and I
which is not often what happens, regardless.
So I think she looked really gorgeous there. Another outfit, which I will do a shout out, not because, well, it was a beautiful outfit. It was, again, the Princess of Wales at the Fashion Awards. She was in a Victoria Beckham suit. I thought it was olive.
I thought it was mustard.
There's
The
no
lighting.
None of us can quite figure out, but I loved the tailoring of it.
I think it's olive.
And I think it was also great that the princess stepped away from her more traditional coat dress looks for this fashion awards and just had a beautifully tailored suit, which I would wear in a hot minute.
Victoria Beckham.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, another great stylist, designer, UK. You know, like great. They're
flying the flag.
Yeah.
So that's all we really have time for today, guys. We will come back to you next week. We have the Trooping of the Colour.
And there's been so many rehearsals, and I love them. Love them.
We have been updated by Alex Seale. Sorry, our French is not great, as you know.
Yeah.
So that happens a week tomorrow. So we will get that, and we will be back to discuss all of that. Very quickly following it, we have the Order of the Garter ceremonies. We should have Royal Ascot. What's one of them? Appearances.
Yes.
Appearances.
Yes.
So there would be a lot to discuss in the following weeks.
Yeah.
I'm also placing bets to see whether Princess Catherine will be made a Knight of the Garter. Traditionally, a consort. So the Queen Mother, Queen Camilla, Prince Philip, they've all been made Knights of the Garter. So I am wondering potentially when this will happen for Catherine. Maybe it won't be this year, maybe it'll be in a couple of years. I thought it might happen last year, but of course with her cancer diagnosis, she was not out in the public eye. Yeah. So we'll just have to see. But I've got fingers crossed it might happen this year.
Okay, maybe.
The Duchess of Edinburgh.
Maybe. Let's see. One or two or both? No, only one.
No, it won't be one.
There can only be
There'll be more than one added to the Garter, but yes, it will. Usually, they won't do more than one royal lady in a year, so we will have to see. We also hopefully have a state visit coming soon, so we'll keep you updated with that, and we'll see some more tiaras and gowns then.
And Princess Anne has been out and about a lot, and we'll talk about her particularly visiting the first response and victims of the Liverpool and Canard. She visited Canard. She's in Barbados, so we'll speak about that next week. Okay,
she'll get her own special session.
Yeah, she always does. She is an absolute workhorse and we love her.
Yeah. Please don't forget to like and subscribe below. Please remember there's no posh vibes, just top tier banter. We'll see you again next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.